Hello everybody, welcome to Championship Matchweek number 2. The opening day has passed and we have reached the second week of the season. There's been some good wins and some horrible defeats, but let's discuss the amount of points we got last week. It was a very good first week for me. I ended up getting 10 points, and I believe I've got the score of the week last week. For Liam, it's 3 points. So I'm essentially carrying on with last season, which is a perfect start for me. But it can change quickly here. So, without further ado, let's get straight on with the predictions. So, I think I'm going to start first this week, and the first game here is Birmingham versus Bristol City. Now, there's no Friday night game on this weekend. It's 11 Saturday games and one Sunday game, but there are still a few 12:30s, and this is one of them. Looking at this, Bristol City didn't exactly have a good opening day, losing, and Birmingham, they drew 0-0. Now, because this is played at St Andrews, I can imagine Birmingham will probably carry on their strong home form from last season, and I think it'll be another disappointing game for Skabala with a 2-1 defeat.
So I think Birmingham should have beaten Sheffield United, who were rubbish. But a relatively early red card pretty much set in stone that defeat for Bristol City. I just feel like this one's got goals in it. I've no reason behind that, but I'm going to say 2-2.
Now for Lincoln v Portsmouth.
Now this one's a weird one. Obviously Lincoln, they had their incredible unbeaten run finished by Middlesbrough. My problem is this already proven to be a tough jump for Lincoln? I don't think so. I think they win, but my other concern for that is last time Lincoln won at home to Portsmouth in a league game was Division 4 in 1980. So that's, 46 years? 45, 46 years, something like that. So history doesn't bode well for Lincoln in this fixture. They did win about 5 years ago, but that was away from home. And since then, they've just had no luck. But because tides have shifted quite a bit in the last couple of years, I feel like that's enough reason for me to say 2-1 home win.
Yeah, I think Lincoln was very unlucky in the end to lose to Middlesbrough. It was certainly a good performance. They even took the lead against Borough, but classic Borough, they came back and only won by 1 goal. Now, I know they lost last time, but it's Lincoln's first home game back at home in the Championship after so many years. And the way Portsmouth played on the opening day, I just don't see a world where it isn't a Lincoln win, to be honest. Portsmouth are a very poor team in the Championship, and I think Lincoln will exploit that with a 2-0 win. Now, the next one is Millwall versus Norwich. Two good teams in the Championship, but Norwich losing in questionable ways against West Brom with that Hegebo handball, which he's since been banned for 2 games. It's quite a punishment, isn't it? And Millwall with a very tidy away win. And I think Millwall will keep this momentum up with a 3-1 home win.
So Millwall were actually the only team to win to nil last week, which is a record, if you like, that they would like to keep. I think they will keep hold of that because I think with Norwich getting robbed against West Brom, I think they'll be a bit just angry in the dressing room. And obviously, I back Norwich to have a wonderful season, but I feel like this is the game where they want to try too hard to bounce back. So I'm saying an Alex Neil special against his old club, or one of his former clubs, I should say, 1-0.
Now for Blackburn v Middlesbrough.
This could definitely be a draw because I thought Blackburn gave a very good account of themselves at Molineux. The thing is, Middlesbrough have that firepower up front now. And speaking of firepower, I've just realised I didn't write down a scorer, so that's something I'm going to have to think of. However, yeah, Blackburn, I just feel like, as good as that was, and the fact that they should have won against Wolves, would probably motivate them a bit. And I can see them going one up against Borough, just like Lincoln did, and then they'd flip it around, win 2-1.
Yeah, I think Blackburn were very unlucky to drop points late on. I thought the Wolves penalty was questionable. I think that, if I remember, was it a handball or something? I thought that was outside of the box.
It was handball.
Yeah. I looked at it and I was very surprised that it was given, because it looked out of the box for me. So really, Blackburn should be going into this with a win, but Middlesbrough is going into this with a win, and I think this is the sort of moment that Blackburn heads drop, and it's something that Middlesbrough will exploit with a very slender 1-0 away win. Now on to the next game, Derby versus Cardiff. Cardiff, a very good free kick in the last minute against Wrexham to salvage a point. Derby not so good on the opening day with a 2-1 defeat to Charlton. A few weeks ago, I would have said that this was a Derby win for sure, but judging by recent Derby results and injuries, I'm no longer so confident. But if there was a prediction I would go for, because this is at Pride Park, I'm going to give Derby a narrow 2-1 win.
And once again, we don't last long before we have the same result. Cardiff, I still don't think they're very good. But Derby are also proving that they are horrendous as well. So this could be the worst 0-0 you've ever seen, but as I said, I've said 2-1.
And for Preston versus Wolves?
This could be a game where Preston can nab a few points here, and by a few points I mean 3, because you can't get any more than 1 other than that. That made sense in my head. But if Wolves hadn't signed Jordan James just a couple of days ago, or whenever it was, I would have said maybe 0-0, 1-0 Preston, but I just feel like it's all going a little bit wrong at Preston still, so that 1-0 victory will be for Wolves.
Yeah, I know Wolves drew on the opening day and they should have lost, but their new signings is going to need time to adapt to the Championship. They're not going to set the world alight immediately. I still think Wolves' squad is definitely capable of mounting a top 4 at least finish in the Championship, but it may take a little while to get going. It's all about gelling, really. Preston, on the other hand, they lost on the opening day to Bolton, and I do think it'll be another season around mid-table for Preston generally, but I do think they will struggle in the first few weeks, and I'm going to give Wolves a 2-0 away win here. Now for QPR versus Bolton, both teams won on the opening day. QPR beating Portsmouth 3-1 and Bolton beating Preston 2-1. Two very good results, and QPR are definitely in the goals at the moment. And you know what? They might fancy themselves to get a few more here. And you know what? I think I'm going to back them. I'm going to say a 2-0 QPR victory.
Everybody, stop what you're doing. QPR are winning the league. Doesn't this sound familiar? Stoke. I just feel like this is a perfect game for QPR to kick off a proper perfect record, and I'm going to back them to win by the exact same scoreline as they did last week, 3-1.
Now for Southampton v Stoke.
I just mentioned Stoke, didn't I? I feel like it's going to be Southampton's first points of the season, and even then they'd still be in the negatives. But I think -4 will finally go to -1. I said that last week. And I say finally as if the season's been going on for months. But 1-0 home win.
You see, I think Southampton will take a little while to get going as well, to be honest. I have a feeling, because this is the exact fixture where Southampton lost last season against Stoke. I know Stoke had a very good start last season, but I really do feel like Stoke will get a lot of draws this season, and I have a feeling that this will be one of them. I'm going to go with a 1-0. Now, the next one is Swansea versus Sheffield United. Swansea, they won 2-1, and Sheffield United drew 0-0. And I have a feeling, again, similar to what I said last time, I see nothing but a draw in this one. 1-1.
I see more than a draw because Sheffield United are down in the dumps. They are in a bit of trouble, let's be real. They could have a big fat -12 on them very soon. So that isn't the reason why I'm saying 2-0 Swansea. I'm saying 2-0 Swansea because they are far better than the Blades right now, which this time last year I wouldn't have expected to say.
Alright, and for West Ham v Charlton.
Here's a fact for you. The last time West Ham and Charlton met in a league game, that was 2007. Guess the score.
4-3.
2.
Oh shit. Charlton.
Charlton won 4-0.
Oh.
That was in the Premier League, as I said, 2007. Will that happen this time? No, 2-1 West Ham.
Yeah, I think Charlton had a good opening day. West Ham drew late to Burnley. But you would think that West Ham win comfortably at home, and I think I'm going to back that, to be honest. I just think West Ham have a bit too much for Charlton. 3-1. And the next one is Wrexham versus Watford. Wrexham losing out 2 points late on at Cardiff. Watford beating Southampton. A very good result for Watford's sake, but I don't see them getting another result here. I'm going to say a 2-0 win to Wrexham.
Watford were arguably the better team against Southampton. Fairly clinical at times. They looked like they could have scored 4 or 5. Only scored 2. Did get the result in the end. My problem with Watford is they conceded a lot of chances. Now, fine, Southampton are a good attacking team, but with Watford easily letting chances come at them, this could be a big goal fest. especially with Wrexham's defence, which I don't need to talk about any further. I'm going to back my point. 3-2 home win.
Yep. And the final game here is West Brom v Burnley.
So Charlton beat West Ham 4-0 a good few years ago now. Also a good few years ago, 10 to be exact. West Brom beat Burnley 4-0. I think 4 goals in that game. And I'm sorry to say, West Brom, no goals in this game.
I think it'll be low scoring as well. And West Brom, I feel like it was imperative to get started quickly this season, and that was exactly what they got at Norwich. Controversially, but that doesn't matter now, they've got the points. Burnley, you would say, was a fairly decent result against West Ham in the end, coming back from 2-0 down. But I'm only just going to add 1 goal apiece to that one. Now, my score of the week this week, I got it bang on last week, so I'm trusting myself to get it bang on this week. I took a look at Josh Coburn as he scored 2 last week, and I back him to score another 2.
I did make my decision a few minutes ago. I've gone for Koki Sato, QPR.
And that is it for yet another week, and we shall see you for match day 3. Bye bye.